Hey, kindergarten through fourth grade team, this video is for our first week of May. We have a brand new life app this month. Our life app is Commitment, making a plan and putting it into practice. And we also have a new memory verse. I'll show you the motions really quick. All right, here's our new memory verse. Training the body has some value, but being godly has value in every way. It promises help for the life you are now living and the life to come. 1 Timothy 4:8. Okay, that's our memory verse for this month. And this week our story is called Over and Over, Training to Win the Prize, 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 25. And what that says, 1 Corinthians 9:24, it says, this was written by Paul to the church in Corinth. In a race, all the runners run, but only one gets the prize. You know, did I turn the page right? You know that, don't you? So run in a way that will get you the prize. All who take part in the games train hard. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. So just talking about this whole month, we're going to be talking about how do we train ourselves so that we can get a crown that will last forever in heaven? What are some things we can do to train our lives spiritually? And today's bottom line is keep practicing what matters most. So this month we're going to be talking about praying. We're going to be talking about listening to what God has to say, reading our Bibles, all these great things that will train our bodies spiritually. So as kids come in, make sure that you take a minute to pray for today's service, praying for the families and kids that you'll be serving today. A little interactivity that you can do, a couple options for our older kids. I have bags on your cart that are just blank pieces of paper if you want the kids to create their own. For our younger kids, I have a bag made up with all these different things, things that when you practice them, you get better at them. So playing sports, playing instruments, making your bed, writing, drawing, all kinds of things in there. So you can have kids make up their own things that they practice and get better at, or you can use the ones that are already made. And you're just going to fold those up and you're going to play charades. So a kid will pick a strip and you'll either read it to them or they'll read it themselves, and then they'll act it out for the rest of the group to try to guess something that you can do that you can get better at by practicing. Then when service starts at 9 and 11, you're going to divide your group into two teams, and the teams will split up and line up in two lines, and then you'll have a little Velcro dot down at the end, two Velcro dots down at the end of your room, one for each team. And so when you say go, the first kid from the team is going to race down to the other side, lay on their back on the Velcro dot, fold their hand across their chest, and try to get up without moving their arms. So once they stand up, have them run back and tag the next kid, and make sure that kids know that this is going to take some practice. And so when they're done with the relay, you're going to say, wasn't that tough? It took some practice to stand up without using your hands. Today in large group, we're going to hear about something else that requires practice. So let's head to large group now. So then you'll head to large group and you will hear a whole story about how we want to practice to win a crown that is going to last forever in heaven. So when you get back from large group, you're going to play a little game you're going to do an activity called Run for the Prize. So what you're going to do is you're going to look up that 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 25, what I just looked up. And this activity was originally made for 2nd through 3rd graders. So your older kids will definitely be able to do this. Younger kids, you might just have to do this all together. Just reminding them 1 Corinthians is in the New Testament. This was a letter written to the church in Corinth. You can invite a kid to read that out loud if you're older. If you're in our younger groups, small group leaders, just read it to your kids. And then I forgot these at home, so I don't have them to show you. But we have these gold crowns, and we have little jewel stickers. So kids can either decorate their crowns with markers, or they can decorate them with these stickers. And they're just going to decorate their crowns. And while they're decorating, you're going to ask them and talk about some of these questions. What does a gold medal runner have to do to prepare for a big race? Asking kids if they've ever trained for something, a sport or a recital. What did they do to prepare? When we see someone receive a prize in a big race or a competition, it can be easy to forget that they trained really hard to win. So what are some ways that we train or practice our faith? We love God, we love others, we hear from God, we pray to God, we talk about God, we live for God. And these are the things we're going to be talking about all month long. So practicing these 4 things, hearing, praying, talking, and living, will help us love God and love others. And that's running in a way that will earn a prize. So what kind of prize do we earn according to 1 Corinthians 9:25? Is it a crown like the one that they're making right now? No, this prize lasts forever. When we put our faith in Jesus and practice loving God and others, we win the prize of life forever with Jesus in heaven. So then you're just going to lay the crowns flat. We're not going to put them into circles yet, and you're going to set these aside for your time of prayer at the end of small group time. And you'll close it down by saying, all right, guys, so today we talked about 4 ways we can grow or practice our faith. And we're going to talk about these things all month long. Commitment is making a plan and putting it into practice. So even though the word faith can seem like a big church word that's not so easy to understand, there's some simple ways we can follow Jesus each day. And Paul reminded us in his letter to the Corinthians to run in a way that will get you the prize. And the prize can't be taken away or lost like a trophy or a medal or crown. The prize is life forever with Jesus in a perfect place. And that's why it's so important to keep practicing what matters most. And maybe make it personal. Tell kids about a spiritual discipline that you have, like reading your Bible, praying, talking to your neighbors about Jesus, and how you make that part of your daily routine, how you've made a commitment to that. Then you're going to do a little review game called 4 Corners Faith. So in each room, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 corners set up for you. And so you'll just play the game 4 Corners where all the kids stand in the middle. And one kid is it, and they close their eyes and count to 10. Everybody else runs to a corner. The kid who's it keeps their eyes closed, and they call out a corner. All the kids in that corner are out. But before the kids in the called corner sit down, instruct the kiddo that's in the center who's it to call on somebody from that group. Oh, you know what? I did not print these on the back of them. Shoot, I didn't do that. So to flip over the number in the corner and read the word on the back. So just 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if they call number 1, then you're going to ask the kids, so what's the number 1 way we hear from God? Through his word, the Bible. If they call corner number 2, ask one of these questions. Corner number 3, ask one of these questions. Corner number 4, ask one of these questions. Okay, and that's how you're just going to review those 4 things. And so then you'll say, just like a runner follows a plan, they make sure to move each day, fuel their body with lots of food, healthy food and water, take time to rest. We need a plan too, even though we're running a different kind of race, a race to follow God. When we follow a simple plan to hear from God, pray, talk about him with others, and live in a way that honors him, our faith will grow and get stronger. And that's why we need commitment to keep practicing what matters most. Then you got a little memory verse relay. So, have these right here. Okay. So first, have kids look up 1 Timothy 4:8 and practice it. You can teach them those hand motions. Read it together, practice the hand motions. Talk about how following God is like training for a marathon, but it is far more important to grow our faith because it matters to us today and forever. Then divide your kiddos into 2 teams and line them up. There's you'll have a baggie with memory verse phrases for each team. Put those at the end. Have kids crab walk one at a time to their pile, grab a piece of the memory verse, crab walk back, and then have the next kid go. Once they've all been collected, have teams work together to put them in order, and the first team in order wins. And then you can just close it down. Great job. There are lots of ways you can train the body for a race. If you've played any sports, you've run drills or relays, and growing our faith is like training for a big physical challenge, but it's way more important, and that's why we need to keep practicing what matters most. And finally, as you close down to pray, help the kids put the crowns around their heads and size them and staple them together, and then encourage kids to wear their crowns as you lead them in prayer, closing down for today, helping us to make the commitment to keep practicing what matters most this month. Super important month. I am pumped for it. It's going to be great. Thank you guys so much for continuing to lead so faithfully. I promise we are working to add more volunteers. I'm so thankful for every single one of you guys. Thank you for serving, and we'll see you on Sunday.